Hey there guys, I am the Sixth Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. So the Tyranid Codex is finally on the way, up for pre-order this coming weekend, and so this is the final week of the GW teasers and previews, I'm sure to many people's delight as they've probably seen all of the Codex already. But as always, for those of you that haven't, we are getting some more new rules and updates shown off from the Codex. And today it is the awesome new chapter tactic style system that the Hive Fleets get, and for the Tyranids that is the adaptations and the hyper adaptations. So like most armies, each Hive Fleet gets 2 traits as part of its main overall set of unique rules, and in the example they show for Jormungandr, their main adaptation, Tunnel Networks, means that monster units get the benefits of dense cover if the enemy unit firing at them is over 18 inches away, and non-monster units get this bonus if they are 12 inches away. So it's a nice little durability buff to all of your units as you move them up the board and get them into melee range or onto objectives. -1 to hit isn't as powerful as it used to be, but it is still a very nice bonus to have and means that you can much more reliably get a good few models up the board and into combat with your opponent. The second part of the trait, the adaptive part, means that initially your units count as half the models when it comes to the blast rule. So a unit of 10 would only count as 5, a unit of 5 or 6 would only count as 3, for example, making it much harder for your enemy to get those guaranteed minimum 3 or maximum shots from the various D3 or D6 blast weapons that are out there. And I mean, for a Horde army, it's not a bad rule, but it's hardly the most exciting rule going, and a lot of the time it's going to have very little impact, or in some cases, if your opponent has no blast weapons, it's never going to come into play and it's going to be completely useless. And then that is where the Tyranid specific, incredibly fluffy, incredibly awesome hyper adaptations come in. Because as you can see, the Tyranids can swap out their second adaptive trait for one of 2 biomorphologies. And in the case of Jormungandr, this is either from the Hunt or the Lurk tables. And there are 3 in total. There is Hunt, Lurk and Feed. And they do give us an example of each. Hunt giving you +1 to your charge rolls, Lurk giving you double wounds counted for bracketing purposes, and Feed meaning that enemy units can't set to defend or fire Overwatch. They are generally your typical, slightly less powerful than the main trait kind of rules, but they are incredibly useful ones to have. And of course, the fact that unlike other armies, you can swap these around to tailor your army makes them really very powerful indeed. And what's even better about this is that this swap is done after deployment and after the roll for first turn has happened. So if you find yourself up against an army with loads of blast weapons, then sure, keep that blast reducing ability. But if you're up against something like Tau and you want to get into close combat a bit quicker, then swap it out for augmented ferocity, and you can reach melee that much quicker. It is so adaptable, and it's really fitting for the Tyranids, I think. It's an incredibly unique and powerful system that I really do love for the Nids, and will mean that it's going to be really hard for your opponent to efficiently plan how to beat you, because you can adapt your forces in your list to help them perform better in almost every situation. There are in the main codex a table with 5 separate choices for each of the Hunt, Lurk and Feed options, and I will put them up quickly now so you can have a see. And if you look, there are some really nice abilities to swap around here, with things like an extra 3 inches to consolidation moves, ignore -1 AP from enemy attacks, and extra AP on your wound rolls of 6. So there are definitely a few options for you there that you can really help tailor your army towards and take out whatever your opponent puts up against you. I will say that in general, Jormungandr is arguably one of the weakest Hive Fleet adaptations, but despite that, there are still some very scary combos that you can pull off with these secondary traits, and the Nids do also still have their own Create a Hive Fleet ability where you choose 2 of these as your main and your secondary, so say for example Hunt and Lurk, and then before the battle you can swap out your secondary, in this case Lurk, to the choice that you didn't pick, so Feed. So it's again a really nice really flexible, adaptive ability to let you build your own custom Hive Fleet. I don't think there's any here that are necessarily stronger than any of the main traits from the official big Hive Fleets, but still, it's a very nice option to have if you do want to use your own custom army in your games of 40k. So there we go. What do you think of these Hive Fleet adaptations and the rules that the Tyranids have got for them? And which do you think you will be swapping out for most often when you are building your Tyranid lists? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.